This is my 2010 smart car, Passion model, and this is a DIY project that I took on. It may not be necessary, but it just makes me feel a little bit more comfortable when I'm riding with my 3 dogs. If I have them in the back, I was worried that on these original smart car latches on the tailgate that they could hit one or possibly both and open up the tailgate while I was driving, and before I could do anything they may fall out. When I open one, you can see that I pull on it pretty good and it does not come open, and the other side doesn't release. So you actually have to hit both of them to make the tailgate fall down. But with my critters, as unpredictable as they are, that could happen. So what I did was to try to make a solution to that, and what I came up with, I believe this was purchased at Home Depot. It had a plastic end on both ends, and it was very, very cheap at the time. It's 1/2-inch pipe, and you can see it's fairly flexible. And what I did was cut off 4 pieces that are maybe just above 1 inch in length, and I just wanted to go tall enough so that it did extend over these original smart car latches. And what I found is that when I push them on, which you can bang them or whatever and push them right on, they are, just with this one piece, enough so that they don't force open the tailgate if someone pushes them. So you don't need a second piece, but just for safety's sake and security's sake, I took a second piece that was the same length essentially as the first, and I split it right down where that little orange thing is. And when I put it on there, it's not going to allow anything, no matter how hard you hit it. It's not necessary because the first piece will do it adequately. And what I'm finding is that when you put them on, remember, without the piece it will unlatch, but with this piece on, it's not going to unlatch no matter how hard you're hitting it there, and it's still flexible. And if you have fingernails, which I really do not, you can pop these off very easily. Put them in the trunk there of the tailgate and have them for later. But they do work very nicely in that regard. The window itself, when you shut it, they don't hamper anything. So that is kind of more for dog critters, because you're not usually going to have a baby or a child back here wandering loose while you're driving, so it's not an issue with that. But for dogs, it may well be. So it only takes a moment. It's very cheap to make these. It's extremely easy to trim them all down and then use them. And like say, if you don't want them, you can always pop them off and put them back here. Now, the problem that you have here, like this, is that you're not going to be able to release the tailgate without removing the things. And unfortunately, I don't have long fingernails to pull them up with, but they do come off fairly easy, especially if we do have fingernails. And then you can get back and release the tailgate again. Like say, you can add them to your trunk space, get them out of the way. I also keep these hockey pucks around. I haven't trimmed those down yet, but I use those for jacking up the car at the jack points. This was very easy to use, a common pair of pruning shears to trim out. And that's the Dog Latch safety catch. This is my 2010 smart car, and what I came up with was a pair of safety latch mechanisms that go right on to the original smart car latches to open this. Oh shoot, that wasn't worth the door. This is my 2010 Passion smart car, and what I came up with was something that may not be necessary, but it just made me feel more comfortable safety-wise than the original latches for the smart car to allow the tailgate to be lowered. If you notice with these original latches, if you push on them, one end will open up. It really won't open the other without a tremendous amount of force, but I was kind of scared that my dogs riding back here may accidentally hit one and allow the tailgate to drop down. What happens is they have to hit both to allow that to happen, so it's not as likely, but with my critters they're unpredictable, so I wanted to be safe. What I came up with was this tubing that I believe I got at Home Depot. It was very, very cheap. It's very flexible, yet still a little bit rigid, and I trimmed off the end. I made 4 pieces that were equal in length, approximately, and cut them with a common pair of pruning shears that I had on hand. And what I did was, when I made the 4, the last 2 I split right down the middle so that this split hose would go over the other. What I found with it though is that when you take these pieces of rubber and push them over, and like I said, they're very flexible, with just the original 1 piece that hasn't been split, you can hit it as hard as you want there, and it's not opening the tailgate at all. So you can get by with 1, but just for added security, or in my mind it felt that way, I split a 2nd piece to put on, and that's certainly not going to allow the dogs to hit that with their paws and open it. Now, if I'm at the grocery store and I need to open this up and take something out, of course I have to remove these. Now, I don't have long fingernails, but if you did, you can hook it under and pop them right off. And when you have the tailgate open, you can store the things away without any problem at all, and they're out of your way. So with these original pieces on, and I just pop them on like that, it doesn't cost anything really to make this modification. And if you're going to haul dogs around back in this area and they're not tethered or something, there is that possibility they could get up with their paws and hit these things. But you can see with the 1 piece only on there, it's not allowing anything to jam, and the tubing's not rubbing into the plastic or harming anything, and the window itself closes without any problems and opens without any problems. Now, if you wanted to get anal with these, you could get the little end caps that they make, the plugs, and put them on the end to kind of finish this off there, but I didn't find that really necessary. This is a DIY project really for critters or dogs more than it is for children, because you're not going to have young children back there running loose when the car's moving and all. But it could happen with an animal that they could accidentally push that, and because it was so easy to do and didn't cost anything, this is what I came up with. So there it is.